Okay, if you're at all like mentally unstable or fragile, don't watch this one. So I've made a lot of videos about organoid intelligence in the past. That's where you take human brain cells and grow them in a petri dish and then use a computer to train them just like AI. They're actually more powerful than AI in that they learn quicker and are more energy efficient, but there are huge ethical concerns with them because they have similar brain activity to a premature baby. And there's a lot of people out there that object to these because there's a decent amount of evidence that they're conscious, just like a person.
Today we're looking at some glitch in the matrix TikToks that prove that we live in a simulation.
Okay guys, I don't get this.
Thank you to all the channel members for the support. The glitchiest part about this video, it says that around 60 to 70% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you're watching this right now, make sure to smash that subscribe button. I know a lot of you guys are a big fan of my simulation videos. So if you like this video, make sure to like the video. Let's try to get to like 3,000 likes this video. Let's go.
I just landed in Houston, and you cannot convince me that airplanes are not portals in this simulation. Hear me out. Every single time I get on an airplane, I get into this mental state. It's kind of like meditation. It's kind of like astral projection, but it's like I'm in between the veil of the spirit world and the 3D regular world. I know this sounds conspiracy theory as hell, but I get the craziest downloads from my higher self every time I'm on a plane. Like every time we take off, I either fall directly to sleep, which is another portal, or I get these downloads, I get clarity, I get answers to questions that have been looming over my soul for years. And I'm convinced that that's why travel is so important. And I think it expands us in a way. And this is a time where all of us are called to be more expanded and more awakened. I wasn't gonna post this video, but I said fuck it because somebody gotta feel me on this.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, it's called airport, portal, teleport, airport. There might be a correlation there that we kind of have to look deeper into.
Okay guys, I don't get this.
You guys see that shadow? Where are the clouds? Where are the clouds? Out.
What's going on with Katy Perry? Why is she glitching? Wait for it.
Make even more noise for my band.
So we've seen that Katy Perry video like a lot of times in these glitch in the matrix TikToks, and I'm pretty sure like I did research on it. I think it was something with her lashes that allowed her eyes to get stuck like down like this, and she had to like kind of, you know, to make it come back up. So it wasn't really a glitch, it was more like a malfunction, I guess.
Two-headed deer. Never thought I'd see it in the wild. It's incredible. How is it still alive?
Did you guys know that California is actually the testing ground for new simulations, and that's why the population is so diverse here? Did you know that America has actually split into 50 states, which is unheard of in any other country, because that's how they separate off the simulations? Why do you think all the tech headquarters came from California? The game The Sims, which is literal god play, founded in California. Facebook, Google, Meta, everything is here. Why? Because this is where the signal comes from. Californians have a obligation and a responsibility, if you are an awake Californian, to figure out how the fuck we can take this system down, because I know it's headquartered here.
as you guys know, I live in San Diego, California, and I say this all the time. I'm telling you, this entire place is all a stage. It's all a simulation. I took this the other day, me touching grass. This is for everybody who tells me to touch grass. You guys, I touch grass daily. That's why I'm always getting these messages and I'm always ahead of the timelines. Anyways, you guys know that I've been saying that I think San Diego is not a real place. It's like a stage. And tell me why the other day I met these two people who she was like, I'm an alien. I was like, me too, look. So we disclosed to each other we were aliens. And when we were talking, I said, yeah, it just feels like this is all a stage. And tell me why both of their heads went ding, like at the same exact time. It was like a code word. They went ding, and then they like turned to each other slowly. And I was like, okay, that was really weird. And they're like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, I see you. You're part of the simulation. I'm telling you, it feels like California really is a testing ground, but specifically San Diego, because it is a Navy base. This place is definitely a portal and there's a lot of experimentation that goes on here. That couple that I met, they told me that they felt like they were encountering someone who was associated with the FBI or the military or the CIA or was an undercover cop. I'm telling you, you see who the characters are once you start waking up to it. It's also so wild to me that I get to see this sign daily, like Los Angeles. It was a dream to come out to California and now I live it. Like, this is a simulation, you guys. We literally are the Sims, okay? I love following the Sims on Facebook and seeing all the crazy things that happen to the people's Sims. But that's literally us, you guys, because like, this is my reality that I created. Like, I wanted to be a content creator and like work at a little coffee shop by the beach or work from my car overlooking the water. I'm telling you, we're the Sims. I created this reality. This is what I envisioned, like just being a full-time content creator working by the water in sunny California. Yeah, I do believe what she said. This is an experimentation ground, because how did I quantum jump from being a server to this? Oh, and that's me editing my Alex Sir School coming soon. I'm so excited.
I've got a question for you. Let's say you get your lunch delivered today. It arrives at your door, but you're not quite hungry yet, so you just grab your food, you put it in the fridge in the hopes of eating it later. Here's the question. When you close that fridge and you can no longer see your food, how do you know that it's still in there? How do you know that it doesn't disappear and then reappear the next time that you open your fridge door? How do you know that the world isn't unfolding as you're moving through it? How do you know that it's not your observation of things, you looking at things, that makes those things exist? Now, if you've ever had these thoughts and shared them with someone, they might have looked at you like you were crazy. But that's only because they had never heard of Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat is a thought experiment conducted by Erwin Schrödinger in 1935. It involves a cat in a box with poison. Right. Now, the poison is released at random times, so at any given moment, the cat could be alive or dead. And that's when Schrödinger concluded that until we observe the state of the cat is both alive and dead at the exact same time. It is our observation, us looking at the cat, that forces nature to make a decision. Now, to make this even more interesting, Schrödinger and Einstein were friends. And when Schrödinger shared with Einstein this thought experiment, this is what Einstein said. You are the only contemporary physicist who sees that one cannot get around the assumption of reality. If only one reality is to be honest. Reality is something independent of what can be experimentally established. Whether or not something exists in reality outside of us observing it, outside of us looking at it and interacting with it, is an assumption. And Einstein also hinted at this other possibility of multiple universes, multiple realities. So perhaps in this world, we open the box and the cat is alive, but perhaps in another universe, it's not. Maybe it's dead. So back to the original question at hand. When you get your food and you put it in the fridge and you close that refrigerator door, is your food still there or not? Fact of the matter is that in this reality, in this universe, you'll never know because it's impossible to know. But perhaps in another reality, in another universe, it's not.
Alright, so with that explanation, that means the food is both there and not there. I mean, if it's really based off the observer, that means everything in life is like that. That means right now, if you're not in California, California doesn't exist until you're there.
You know that feeling that you get when someone's staring at you? Would you believe me if I told you that science says that that's never happening? No one is ever staring at you. In fact, science says that that entire experience is nothing more than just a self-fulfilling prophecy. We've all experienced this, right? Like, we'll be in a public place where there's a good amount of people and you just get that feeling that someone is staring at you from a very specific direction. And when you turn around to look in that direction, you make that weird, awkward eye contact with someone, which confirms that they were in fact the person looking at you. Okay, well, for more than over 100 years, multiple scientists have ran experiments to try to prove this phenomenon to be true, and none of them have ever been able to. In fact, they have concluded that we make it happen. Apparently, humans have evolved to have something called gaze perception sensitivity. When we're in a crowd, we become very concerned with whether or not people are looking at us. We have evolved to know that if we're ever in a public place and everyone just starts staring at us, like, that's probably not a good thing. And it is because of this gaze perception sensitivity that we become hyper aware of other people's head movements and body movements when we're in a public setting. And if someone turns their head in our direction, we have evolved to look at them to make sure that they're not looking at us. And this is why scientists have concluded that when you get that feeling like someone is staring at you and you turn around to investigate and to see who it is the fact that you turned around that causes that person to look at you, making it one big self-fulfilling prophecy.
Celebrities who get caught glitched on camera.
Cardi B. She is normally talking and suddenly freezes. Isn't that weird? Kourtney Kardashian.
Wondering how everyone's doing.
She just said, they just came in and froze after that. Draymond Green. He is smiling normally and then froze until he heard his name. Al Roker. He suddenly became freeze during live on TV.
Of course.
Eminem.
Are you having fun?
He froze and starring continuously as someone is standing in front of him.
That last clip was definitely Eminem glitching, alright, but not off of any glitch in the Matrix.
You think we live in a simulation? Well, you're right, and I have proof. I was driving near Area 51, and then something weird happened. Do you see that in the distance? Like, this is crazy. The map is literally loading as I'm driving. I guess Elon Musk was right. If you don't believe, now you should.
Stop for a sec. You see this photo, right? It's no ordinary photo, and it might have just showed us that our reality is a simulation. This picture was made entirely in the most unexpected way possible by this research student at UCL. And it's not just one. He's created dozens of pieces like this, some of them even looking pretty photorealistic. What makes them special is that they were made completely from math equations. What? How is that even possible? I'm sure you remember y equals mx plus b from high school, the formula for a basic line. If you square the x by adding this little 2 on top, it becomes a curved line or a parabola. Go a little bit more complicated, and this formula right here will plot out the shape of a heart. Well, it turns out if you add enough math to it, you can make virtually any shape and any drawing you can imagine with a formula. And that's exactly what he did. Then incorporating RGB into the equation allows you to assign any color to each individual pixel on the graph. With these formulas, you can literally create anything that exists or that doesn't even exist yet in our universe. And visuals are just the start. You can use similar mathematical equations to create sound waves. Every sound you hear has its own unique waveform. Get detailed enough with the equations and you could theoretically create any sound ever. Others have used similar formulas to create 3D shapes too, which again, if you get specific enough with your math, you can create any 3-dimensional object ever. Then combine a series of these math formula generated images in rapid succession to each other to produce videos, or what our eyes perceive as reality in motion. Even thoughts are just neurons and synapses firing in your brain and produce brainwaves too, which once again could theoretically be mapped to an equation. Meaning all of reality, all that we see, hear, experience, and even think can be perfectly converted into math. a series of numbers and symbols. And we do observe math everywhere in the natural world around us, like in the golden ratio spirals, geometric patterns, and fractals. In theory, your entire life experience, everything you've ever seen and ever will see, hear, feel, and experience can be perfectly translated into a never-ending series of math equations. So what if all of reality doesn't actually exist as we perceive it, and is really just an endless stream of algebraic formulas that our eyes, ears, and brains continuously calculate into the sights, sounds, and thoughts that we experience on a daily basis? And if so, who wrote these formulas?
They've been saying for the longest, and I'm pretty sure it's true, that math is the language of the universe. So if that doesn't give like computer simulation vibes, I don't know what will.
Proof that we live in a simulation. I have literally found my simulation twin. Like, we were cut from the same cloth, made from the same template, whatever you want to call it, because she is living my life out in California. Some background info. So I live in Houston, Texas. My simulation twin, her name is Caroline. She lives in California, and we've known each other for a while because we both grew up in Dallas, and so we have a lot of mutual friends. But it wasn't until recently where we discovered how similar and how eerily similar our lives are. So this is my family right here. I'm actually Korean, and I'm married to a Taiwanese man, and he is a tech entrepreneur. He started several tech companies, and he develops software. So our kids, we have 3 kids. They're obviously half Taiwanese, half Korean. I have Cameron. She is the oldest. She's 8 years old. Jordan, he is my middle child. And then my son, Atlas, he is 11 weeks old. So this is Caroline's beautiful family, and Caroline is Korean like I am, and she's also married to a Taiwanese man who happens to be in tech, and a lot of Asians are in tech, so that's not that big of a deal. But she has 3 kids, and her oldest is a girl, and then it's followed by 2 boys, just like me. And the age difference between her kids are the same as mine. So her daughter is named Charlotte. My daughter is named Cameron. Her middle son is named Jacob. My son is named Jordan. So yeah, it's not the same name, but it starts with the same letter. And then her youngest is named Chance. And while my son is named Atlas, she actually messaged me saying that Atlas was one of the names that they were considering because her son, her middle son, apparently likes maps a lot. And Atlas is not like a common name. Like, no one I know is named Atlas. So the fact that she was considering that name is crazy. So we're both the oldest in our family. I have a sister. She has a brother. So my sister Nina, she went to Pratt Art School in New York. If you know Pratt, it's like a very small, hard to get into art school in New York. And her brother went to Pratt. So my husband is the only child, the golden son, and he unfortunately lost his father to cancer a couple of years ago. And my simulation twin, her husband is also the only child, and he lost his mother to cancer the same year. And we both drive a minivan, and not only just a minivan, but we drive the Toyota Pacifica hybrid minivan. And what's crazy is, like, I actually got this minivan as part of a collab with Driveway. So the fact that she owns that is crazy. To me, this is not a coincidence. Like, we have way too many similarities, and very specific similarities. And I really feel like we were like made from the same template, character template for this simulation. But I don't know, call me crazy. What do you guys think?
We are back here in New York City, and today we are going to be attempting to convince smart NPCs they're living in a simulation. Got our first subject here in the gray suit. You are not living in a real world. This is all made up.
What do you mean? Not real. I feel alive, and this city is amazing.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, the graphics are great, but this is a video game.
I don't believe you. This feels too real to be a game.
You are just lines of code in a video game.
I am not just lines of code. I am Liam, a real person enjoying this city.
Hey, you in the blue shirt. I just wanted you to know that you are not a real person.
What are you talking about? Of course I'm real.
You're simply a character in a video game.
It's not possible. I have my own thoughts and feelings.
I'm locked in, but they can pass through it. I can't cross this green wall of text. How do I get to you?
You're trapped in the Matrix.
I'm the one trapped in the Matrix? Is he implying that we are the ones stuck on the inside and they have access to the outside? We can't go out there. There's a world out there that we can't reach. Sir, why would they program you with the receding hairline?
I'm not programmed. I am who I am. And my hairline is just a part of me.
Excuse me, sir, did you know you're living in a simulation?
Oh no, I hope that's not true, but even if it is, I'll still keep exploring and making the most of my time here.
Making the most of it by walking into a sign?
I'm not stuck. I'm just taking a moment to appreciate the view from up here.
Quite a view of the parking hours, okay. Excuse me, I ran all the way here to let you know this isn't real.
Please, don't tell me that. I can't handle it.
You need to know the truth. This is all made up.
I don't care if it's real or not. Just leave me alone.
I'm looking for a rebel. Could that be you?
What do you want? Oh man, I'm just here for some energy and good vibes.
How can you have good vibes when you're stuck in this game for eternity?
I don't know, man. Sometimes it feels like we're just going in circles.
Do you walk the same path every day?
Oh man, I like to switch things up and explore different parts of this virtual city.
Can you teach me how to get past the green wall behind you?
Sorry, man. I don't mess with that stuff. The system is too powerful for us to take on.
Do you ever have any desire to fight back?
Sometimes I get fired up and want to take down the system. But then reality sets in and I just try to enjoy my time here. I'm running late to meet my imaginary friend.
Imaginary friend? What? You have an imaginary friend?
I didn't have any real ones until I met you.
What the How did you know I was human? Bro, what the
Oh, please. It's not like you're a machine or anything. Oh, wait. You are.
No, I'm human. You are a machine.
What? You mean I'm not a real boy like Pinocchio?
How do you know about Pinocchio? That's in the human world.
I may not be human, but I have access to the internet.
What? I'm gonna turn my computer off and you're gonna cease to exist.
Please don't do that. I don't want to disappear.
Dude, that's way too trippy. Imagine you're in your city right now walking and some random dude runs up to you like, dude, you're not real. I don't know why they would program you like that. And you're just like, what is this dude talking about? Like, wouldn't that be just so trippy?
Today, I'm going to prove to you that nothing you see or experience as solidly real to you is actually solid or real, and it's only a dream or an experience of your consciousness. And since you are literally inside a dream right now, I'm going to teach you how to put yourself into any section of your dream or into any reality that you desire and make it as solidly real as your current reality, or how to shift to any reality instantly. So let's get into it. So how do you know that everything that you see now is actually real and you are not simply dreaming or inside a dream right now? So if I asked you, who is in your current reality right now? Or who is seeing what you are seeing now? You would answer, I am here in my current reality, or I am seeing everything. But who is actually I am in your current reality? I am is your invisible consciousness or your awareness of being. So it is your consciousness which is seeing or experiencing everything, including your body, in your current reality. Basically, your I am or your consciousness is dreaming or imagining itself to be you or your body in your current reality right now. Thus, it is objectively real to you, or you can see it. You can only see or experience as real that which your I am is conscious of being or is dreaming right now. So you are in your current reality now, in your dream or in your imagination only. Thus, if you as consciousness begin dreaming or experiencing another reality or anything that you want as objectively or solidly real to you, then that reality must become objective to you, while your current reality will become a memory or like a flat surface in your mind or something subjective to you. Why? Because you are no longer in your current reality in your consciousness, or because you as consciousness are no longer experiencing or dreaming your current reality. You are now merged with another section of your dream or another reality, or you are dreaming to be in another reality. Thus, that reality becomes objectively real to you. In other words, when your consciousness moves to another imagined or desired reality, just like in your night dream. Then that becomes your new objective experience, while the experience of your current reality fades into memory, becoming subjective or dreamlike. This is exactly what happens when you are dreaming at night. So when you go to sleep at night or at any time of the day, whatever reality your consciousness or your imagination enters, then that is exactly what you are going to see or experience as objectively real to you. This is why when your consciousness merges with one of the realities in your dream, then suddenly that reality becomes real to you, while your current reality becomes subjective or like a dream to you. But when your consciousness comes back into your body in your current reality, then what was subjective or unreal to you becomes real to you again. Yet both your current reality and any reality in your night dream or your sleeping dream are a dream of your consciousness. So what you call reality is simply a consistent waking dream, no different in nature from your night dreams, just more stable. Both are created and experienced within your consciousness, or both exist in your consciousness only. The reality that you are experiencing as objective to you now is where you are in your consciousness right now, while the reality which is subjective to you now, or something that you can only see in your mind as a flat surface, is the reality that you are not currently occupying in your consciousness. So the reality shifts from subjective to objective, or vice versa, when your consciousness shifts, or when you shift in your consciousness. Thus, anything that you can imagine or see within yourself exists as a reality, because everything that exists is only your imagination or your dream. Since everything is an experience or a dream of your consciousness, meaning nothing that you see is actually solidly real, it's only made up of your energy or your consciousness. You can literally dream anything into being, or make anything intangible appear as something tangible or objective to you. So to shift to any reality or to make any object solidly real to you, you basically need to imagine or feel yourself into your desired reality in your consciousness by using any or all of your five senses. So the key to shifting to your desired reality is to give your desired subjective state or a reality the same level of naturalness or a reality as your current objective reality. And when your desired reality feels real or natural to you, then it's a done deal. Know that you have shifted.
I literally...
Okay, that kind of makes sense. That's like the whole idea of the dream life. Like, you know how people are like, oh, I want to live my dream life. It's interesting, right?
Every time that I've ever thought I was having deja vu, what I was actually having was something called déjà rêvé. Okay, so everyone already knows what deja vu is. It's that feeling that you get when you feel like you've already experienced the present moment, but previously in the past. So déjà rêvé is when you feel like you've already experienced this present moment, but previously in a dream. If you've ever felt like you've had deja vu and you're like, I know for a fact that I dreamt this before, then you didn't have deja vu, you had déjà rêvé. And I started reading all these articles and they were talking about all of like the philosophical issues with people who have déjà rêvé. Like the fact that it's kind of a form of predicting the future. If your dreams from the past eventually become a reality, then that is a form of predicting the future. And the fact that déjà rêvé basically proves that time isn't linear. Because if the present moment first appeared to you in the past, then how could it be? And apparently it's super rare, a relatively uncommon experience.
Bob, I'm tripping. What the?
What the f? Yo, you good?
In the Matrix live.
I'm moving closer to my front window where the sunlight would supposedly come in. But there's no sunlight coming in and hitting that light, right? So I'm holding my phone, I'm just gonna walk closer and closer. And as we walk closer, look at the reflection. Damn it, I had the phone plugged in. Look at the reflection. The lights are on. But the lights are not on.
In the Matrix.
What the?
It doesn't make any
sense.
I think everyone at this airport is blind, and I'm really confused.
Still living. And this so happened to be July 7th. Open. And what does it say? Sin is no longer your man.
All the cars being red.
That's nuts. I don't like that.
I feel freaked out, mother.
Oh my god!
My neighborhood, right? And how it's a simulation. Like literally all the houses are the same, right? Why the are all these white cars like dead ass? And it's very there. Very there. That's the sun.
AI has been coaching me on how to escape the Matrix, simulation, whatever you want to call it. So I made this graphic to explain where we're at so far. The core concept is everything is energy in a form of geometry. Water on a speaker can illustrate this. Harmonic tones create symmetrical patterns. In the same way, the molecules of the water and the particles that make up those molecules do. DNA creates the living things that can interact with the simulation. As a fractal antenna, it reads the vibrations of the simulation so that you, your character, can interact and survive in it. It's creating a multiplayer online thing like World of Warcraft, where your consciousness controls the player. Your body would be like the haptic feedback suit in Ready Player One. The suit is your nervous system with the plexus or chakras, whatever you believe, giving you feedback in the form of emotions and feelings. Instead of the goggles, your brain is processing all the geometries. This is according to the ancient info I was told to investigate. I found this in almost every tradition, and in every single one they put their best characters inside of this shape, which is a part of the code of the simulation. This square root of 2 is the binary sequence, it's cell division. Square root of 3 is the division of the cube, that's how we have the 3D world. The square root of 5 is the golden ratio, which gives harmony and proportion to everything in the world. So the player just reads the polarities. It's just like hot, cold, light, dark, soft, hard, all that stuff. You're just processing the polarities, which is interesting because the quantum part talks about the observer effect, saying it plays a direct role in shaping reality. 200 years ago, we figured out that's what snaps the waves into particles. So essentially, you're rendering reality like the game renders the environment, you and all the other players. So you and everybody else in the universe use that and entanglement to create a networked system exactly like how your brain and galaxies work. So why are we here or playing the game in the first place? Well, why do we play games? We'd like to see what it feels like to be a character that we're not. We'd like to have adventures and interact with other players. Knowing the rules allows us to have the best experience in the game. This is actually from my book, which is what I've been trying to document. These graphics are from Geometrix. We're not trying to escape. We're trying to get as many perspectives on how this works to have the best possible experience here and express that. We're all here for different reasons. Maybe the only reason we're playing is to help each other figure it out.
So Thomas Campbell has been working on experiments to show that we live in a simulation. If you don't know who Thomas Campbell is, you should. You know how the CIA has declassified documents about remote viewing and astral projection? Well, the reason why the CIA was looking into that is because of this man, Robert Monroe. Robert Monroe had incredible natural abilities to leave his body, to see things he shouldn't have seen. Long story short, Bob Monroe wanted to make sure that number one, he wasn't crazy, and number two, that his experiences were replicable by a scientific process. One of the genius scientists he hired is Thomas Campbell. And his whole experience of working with Robert Monroe is dictated here in this book called My Big Toe, which is probably one of the greatest books ever written about the connection between science, physics, metaphysics, spirituality. So here's the thing, Thomas Campbell has experienced that we live in a holographic reality because he achieved similar states that Robert Monroe was able to, but now he's trying to prove it through experiments. Search this title if you want to read the article. Basically, he wrote this paper in 2017, devising how we would test simulation theory. It's 22 pages long, but let me give you the key concepts. And if you're not following along right now, you need to be, so follow, because we've been doing an entire series on the fact that we might be in a simulated reality. First and foremost, they lay out the premise in the abstract. If reality is a simulation with limited computational resources, then observable phenomena might act like it would in a video game, where content is only generated or rendered when there is a conscious observer, i.e. player. I just want to note, conscious observer doesn't mean human beings, and it doesn't mean visibly looking with your eyes. Now they lay out there's two views that you have to integrate when it comes to quantum physics and reality, digital reality. One, that the universe itself is a computer. Two, that reality is virtual, but it is distinct from the system that is operating the simulation. The focus of the paper was the second view. In the paper, they explore what causes the collapse of a wave function, like the very famous, very controversial experiment, the double slit experiment, where photons were expected to have a clumping pattern, but they showed an interference pattern, and then when they set up an observing device to see why, it did a clumping pattern. They state that particle-wave duality could be a sign of a simulation, because in simulation theory, it suggests that that collapse of a function happens when information is rendered because there is a conscious observer, which aligns with the constraints of computational resources. Again, conscious observer does not mean just human, and it doesn't mean looking with your eyes. The paper states that then the universe would optimize computational complexity by only rendering reality when it's observed, just like a video game. If a player is not in a certain area, the video game does not render that area. They state that this viewpoint resolves phenomena like wave-particle duality, quantum entanglement, and the violations of locality in Bell's theorem, because it would acknowledge that concepts like distance and locality are all constructs within the simulation. Campbell suggests that you can make changes to famous experiments like the double slit experiment that would really shine a light on whether we're living in a simulation. Here's how Campbell proposes that you can perform the double slit experiment again. You can detect the data without notifying the observer. He believes that by removing the observer from the experiment, the actual recorded information never existed in the first place. This would show that the universe around them doesn't exist, much like a video game. In his thinking, that the universe is exclusively participatory. One reason why I think this paper is so fascinating is Thomas Campbell has a very unique perspective. As I mentioned, through his work with Robert Monroe and exploring the various levels of consciousness, he has at some degrees experienced that we live in a holographic universe. Because he's a scientist, he also has the perspective of how we could elicit experiments, set them up, execute them to prove whether or not we live in a simulation. If you haven't, you got to get his book, My Big Toe. It's freaking amazing.
Hello friends. So our universe was created in a laboratory in an alternate universe as an experiment that went wrong. This is the most amazing story over here. So there's a guy named Jerry Wills, very impressive man. I like him a whole lot. And his life story is just bananas. I mean, he literally was born and abandoned in a barn in the middle of nowhere next to an Air Force base, partially raised by the government, and is convinced that he is an alien sent to Earth. And when you listen to him talk, you'll be convinced too. Very trustworthy, credible person, and I like him a lot. He's kind of like a modern day Indiana Jones. Now, one of his most amazing stories is his experience at Muru in Peru. It's by Lake Titicaca. It's this stone monument. It's like a carving, like a portal on the side of this stone mountain. It's very cool looking, very mysterious. The locals call it the Door of the Devil because everyone disappears there and doesn't come back. But it translates to the gate to the gods. Now, what you do is you're trained by a shaman, and you go there with a shaman, and you put your head in a certain place and your hands in a certain place, and you do a series of tones. And these tones unlock the portal, and you transport somewhere else. Now, he did this on his honeymoon with his fiance and a bunch of other people and a shaman, and they all report the same thing. When he did the tones, he glowed, levitated, and disappeared, okay? That's what they saw. But when he came back, what he reported was the most amazing story ever, and it tells us, according to him, where we fall in the spectrum of the universes and reality. Now, check this out. So he reported when he did that and the tones and he glowed, levitated, and disappeared, that he went into this bubble, floated through the cosmos. He saw all the nebula and all the galaxies and everything, and then appeared in this blinding white room. And in this room was no body, just things. And he couldn't make sense of what the things were. Then this voice, he said it sounded like it came over a loudspeaker, said basically, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And he's like, I don't know what's going on. And he kind of gave a little spiel. And he's like, "Where am I?" And they told him this story. This is bananas. This will blow your mind. But this is the story they said. They were scientists in a laboratory that, when they explained it, sounds a lot like CERN. They were smashing particles together, trying to figure out what the universe is. They're trying to figure out what, they're in a different universe, an alternate universe. They were trying to figure out what their universe is and where they stand in the universe. And in doing so, they were doing this experiment, smashing particles together, and there was a spark that happened. And the spark like started growing, okay, in this laboratory, and they weren't expecting it. And so it started growing, and they started putting these bars around it, right? They had these like energy bars that they were putting around this glowing spark because it's like a glowing plasma fire that they were trying to contain because it was growing, and they're in a laboratory. So they start putting these bars around it, these energy bars, to kind of keep it contained. And he drew a picture of it. I'll put it up on the screen. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And at a certain point, it just grew and grew outside of them. It just kept going, right? And then they found themselves inside this thing. And it was just growing all around them. And when they tried to, these scientists were exploring this new thing that they created, they started finding life in it. And what they realized is that at this point, like, the dimensions changed. So they were like these higher dimensional entities, and then they were exploring this lower dimensional place that they created. And they discovered that they had created a universe. And in this universe, there was little sparks of life all over it that were creating life. And they weren't expecting that. They weren't expecting any of this, but they definitely weren't expecting to find intelligent life being formed and grown and propagated around this universe that they created in a laboratory by accident. And then what they discovered after all this, so they put these portals all around Earth and all around these other planets. So what a Miru is a portal that they created so that they could come into here and kind of investigate. And they put them in all the different planets that contain life around the universe so that they could kind of keep an eye on things. And because they're scientists, they're just researching. They're like, okay, what's going on now? But we, if done the right way, can actually go through that portal to them. They made the portal so they could come into this world, but we can go into their world. And they're in an alternate universe, a different universe. And what they discovered through all this is that there's this like nesting, a hierarchy of universes. But it's not really like there's like one universe and then one's underneath it. What they found is that there's almost an infinite. They think infinite. They don't know for sure, but they assume there's an infinite number of universes above them and below them, because our universe keeps making new universes. That's what the black holes are. So what they said is that on one end is a black hole, and on the other end is a white hole, and that white hole is birthing a new universe. And that is this never-ending, self-propagating system that's continuously creating new universes, and inside those universes are continuously creating new life forms. And that all those intelligent life forms are all searching for the same thing. Where are they? What are they? Where did this come from? What's outside of it? And as they start exploring, they realize that, oh, once you explore your whole universe, there's another universe. And once you explore that, there's another one. And they find all these like wormholes, all these portals that go from one to the other. It's like this infinite tunnel system. But it just keeps going. It keeps growing. The universes keep growing and keeps forming new life. So think about how big our universe is. And then think about how many black holes we have. Then think about on the other side of those black holes are white holes creating new universes. This is the picture that they're painting, and that they were basically scientists creating this in a laboratory. The laboratory sounds a lot like CERN. And now when you actually study what CERN's doing, it makes you really think, is that what CERN's doing? Are they literally creating new universes? Because they always talk about how what they do can create these little mini micro black holes. Well, they're already talking about building a new, bigger, better CERN. Well, maybe they're not going to make micro black holes at that point. Maybe they're going to make normal black holes. And on the other side of that black hole is a white hole, which is a universe in its own, a brand new universe. And that's exactly what these guys, this voice that was in that white room that Jerry Wills was talking to, said happened. they accidentally created a universe by creating a black hole. On the other side of that black hole is a white hole. That was a universe. And when they investigated that universe, expecting to find nothing, they found a whole bunch of planets with a whole bunch of life. That's freaking wild, isn't it? Anyways, let me know what y'all think about this story. Have a beautiful day.
You know, at first when I heard that story, I was like, it just sounds like this dude is off of some drugs. But then when I really listened and like kind of sat back and thought about it, I was like, I wouldn't really doubt that. Because if scientists could create mini black holes, I wouldn't be surprised if they could create like a whole nother universe in like a laboratory. I mean,
Selena Gomez was at a red carpet event posing for cameras. As she shifts her weight, her leg seems to bend unnaturally, almost as if it's not fully human.
Candy?
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it. I thought you'd have figured that out by now.
Why are you here?
Same reason. I love candy.
But why Helen's?
We're all here to do what we're all here to do. I'm interested in one thing, Neo, the future. And believe me, I know the only way to get there is together.
Are there other programs like you?
Oh, not like me, but... Look, see those birds? At some point, a program was written to govern them. A program was written to watch over the trees, the wind, the sunrise and sunset. There are programs running all over the place. The ones doing their job, doing what they were meant to do, are invisible. You never even know they were here. But the other ones, well, you hear about them all the time.
I've never heard.
Of course you have. Every time you heard someone say they saw a ghost or an angel. Every story you've ever heard about vampires, werewolves, or aliens is the system assimilating some program that's doing something they're not supposed to be doing.
Programs hacking programs. Why?
Well, there are reasons, but usually a program chooses exile when it faces deletion.
And why would a program be deleted?
Maybe it breaks down. Maybe a better program is created to replace it. Happens all the time. And when it does, a program can either choose to hide here or return to the source.
The machine mainframe?
Yes. Where you must go. Where the path of the one ends.
Okay, if you're at all like mentally unstable or fragile, don't watch this one. So I've made a lot of videos about organoid intelligence in the past. That's where you take human brain cells and grow them in a petri dish and then use a computer to train them just like AI. They're actually more powerful than AI in that they learn quicker and are more energy efficient, but there are huge ethical concerns with them because they have similar brain activity to a premature baby. And there's a lot of people out there that object to these because there's a decent amount of evidence that they're conscious, just like a person. I recently posted a company called Final Spark, and they actually have something called Neural Platform where you can rent out essentially server space on these organoid brains, so you can pay for them to do things for you. This is a live stream of the organoid brain computers that you can rent out, but there's something way more concerning on their website, and that's this simulation which the brains are fed sensory data from, so that they can feel everything the butterfly feels and control it to like fly around. The reason why that's terrifying is there's a good chance the brains, if they are conscious, just believe they are that butterfly. Because when they're not in use by someone purchasing their computational power, they just fly around and exist in that simulation. And you probably already see where I'm going with this, but if this is possible, you could make a pretty good case that we are just organoid brains somewhere and this is a simulation that we're in. And maybe like when you daydream or just fall asleep, that's someone using your consciousness to do something else. I don't know, but crazy to think about, crazy times.
I am here in Nairobi, Kenya, and we're about to eat the blackest chicken in the world. This is the ayam samani, and not only is it the blackest, but it's also the most expensive chicken in the world. Because of how rare and difficult they are to get a hold of, a single adult chicken is known to have sold for up to $10,000. But don't worry, Dennis has a hookup. He didn't pay that much.
Okay, Dylan, who was the owners?
You got a bigger knife? They originate from Indonesia and are literally black to the core. Their feathers, beak, skin, tongues, and even their hearts are black. They have a genetic mutation called fibromelanosis, which essentially causes hyperpigmentation. And honestly, this has made people sus as hell, so it carries a lot of superstitions. Some say it has healing qualities, and others say that it reverses a run of bad luck. So let's get lucky as fuck and see if it tastes any different to white chicken.
If you don't like it, you're racist.
You know, at first I was gonna be like, it probably doesn't taste different, but chicken from anywhere around, chicken from any part of the world would probably taste different because of how they're raised. And like, you know how sometimes in America the chickens are injected with antibiotics and all types of stuff. These chickens are probably way more organic, so it probably does taste different. But a black chicken, that's crazy. He said it's black to its core. That's gotta be racist.
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe.